It is a great honor and privilege to introduce my brother and best friend, Randy Robertson, for the 2019 Baseball Hall of Fame induction. Randy's nomination and subsequent approval for this prestigious honor were a result of his exceptional career in minor ball combined with an outstanding 7-year senior career. Randy grew up in a family who loved baseball, and as a result, he spent countless days as a youngster being the bat boy, ball chaser, and top ticket salesman for the Manitoba Red Sox senior team. The team his grandpa Warren Caldwell coached for many years, the team his grandpa George Robertson took money at the gate and looked after the diamond for, the team his dad Al Robertson coached for many years, and where his mom Lorna Robertson ran all the minor baseball in Manitoba, plus the food booth. Randy's sisters Kim Enns and Carrie Havers were also very good ball players who were in attendance tonight. Randy was born into the game and quickly fell in love with it. He played in his backyard for hours with Ronnie, Bobby, and Darren Meekin, myself and Donnie McDonald, and whatever other kids could play that night. Randy was a great hitter and a pitcher to the amazement of all the older boys. His over-the-top wiffle ball curveball was almost unhittable by age 10, and his hitting was far beyond his years. During Randy's minor years playing for Manitoba, with mom coaching his team and dad coaching my team, he dominated his own age group and was one of the best players a year older. Randy was always the pitcher, catcher, or shortstop for his team. He also always hit third or fourth from the time he was 8 until the time he retired at age 23. If Randy's team happened to lose out in a tournament or provincials, he was the first to be picked up for another team who was trying to win. Randy then became that team's top pitcher and third or fourth hitter for the first game on that team. When Randy was 12, he was picked up by Gladwin Scott, who coached Souris at the time to represent Manitoba in the Western Canadian Championships hosted by Neepawa. Kevin Booker, who is in the room tonight, was also on this team. Playing Pincher Creek and Greg Roth in the semifinals, Randy hit one off the very top bar of the fence in the outfield that would have won the game. Unfortunately, it stayed in the park as their top hitter, Greg Roth, hit one out the next inning to end the game. Randy won the All-Star Catcher Award for the tournament while helping Souris to a bronze medal. Later that summer, Randy was picked up by an All-Star Manitoba squad who traveled to Chicago. And in talking to Kevin Booker tonight, they were supposed to go to Kentucky, and somehow they ended up in Chicago, so it was pretty forgiving parents back then. Again, Kevin Booker was on that team, along with Steve Sager, who is being inducted tonight, so it was a pretty big trip for young kids. By the time Randy was 14, he was well known as one of the very top players, if not top, across all of Manitoba. In between games at various tournaments, I was lucky to witness 2 masterpieces that I'll never forget. The opponent was none other than Brandon, who was a small-town Manitoba we loved beating. Lorna, Randy's mom, coached Randy's team, and Bernie Sontag, who was Galen Sontag's dad, coached Brandon. They had many, many close games over the years, but these 2 were special. In the final at the Cardell Sports Day, where Bruce Stevens is from, in 1980, Manitoba Junior Red Sox beat Brandon 1-0. Randy pitched all 7 innings, as did Galen Sontag for Brandon. Randy got the only 2 hits off Galen. The first was a line drive double that he never scored on. The second, he wanted to make sure of it and hit the game-winning solo home run very late in the game. The second most exciting game I ever watched was when history repeated itself, again 1 month later in Brandon, with the exact same score, the exact 2 pitchers pitching 7 innings each. Again, Randy hit the only home run to win the game. Personally watched and awed both games, and Galen Sontag, as many of you know, went on to play junior and senior team Canada, college baseball at Lewis Clark State in Idaho, and interestingly, Randy and Galen became teammates on the 1985 Silver Canada medal-winning game in St. John, New Brunswick in 1985. Mike Lavassia, who introduced Bruce Stevens, was a coach on that team, and he had a huge influence in both Randy and my life. It was during this same summer in 1980 that Manitoba put on a super clinic, thanks in large part to Glenna Scott, who's in the audience tonight. 170 participants aged 14 to 18 took part in a 3-day clinic ran by Dick Roach, who scouted for the Montreal Expos for 2 years, then went on to scout for the New York Yankees for 20 years, and he was the one responsible for Derek Jeter, and gets credit for him to this day. So he was in small-town Hamiota. He also coached Team USA and Team Canada, believe it or not, in the Olympics. Quite the incredible camp that these three gentlemen put on. At the end of the camp, 1 out of 170 kids signed a card. It was the 14-year-old Randy Robertson, who at age 14 was throwing a very impressive 80 miles per hour on the radar gun while pitching, ran 7 seconds flat in the 60-yard dash, and for those people that know, at that time, 6.9 was average major league speed, and his hitting was exceptional. Dick Roach told Randy at the end, after filling out a Montreal Expos card, said, "Son, it won't be long before you are hitting it out of this park." And Dick now, to this day, I believe, is the special consultant to Milwaukee Brewers GM Doug Melvin. At 15, Randy was selected as an underager with 5 other Manitobans to go represent Manitoba at a Western Canada week-long developmental identification camp in Sherwood Park, Alberta. Glennis Scott, Ford Franchuk, national team coach, and Terry Murphy were 3 of the elite coaches. At 17, Randy was selected with 5 other Manitobans, including Kevin Booker, to try out in Kindersley, Saskatchewan for Team Canada U18. In 1985, at the age of 19, Randy was the second youngest to make a very strong Team Manitoba squad for the Canada Summer Games in St. John, New Brunswick. Randy batted leadoff throughout the tournament and hit over 400 throughout the games. In the gold medal game against Team Ontario in front of 5,000 screaming fans, trailing 4-2 in the 6th inning, Randy hit his traditional double off the left center field fence, driving in all 3 runs to make it 5-4 for us. And I'll never forget Randy with both hands in the air. That look on his face, he was always one of the most clutch players I ever played with. At the end of the game, we ended up losing in a very controversial game, and in extra innings we lost, I believe it was 10-9 to Team Ontario, who were always one of the top teams. But it was Randy who put the fear of God into Team Ontario, who thought they were going to beat us quite easily. Randy played in the, he only played in the Manitoba Senior Baseball League for 7 years. He took Randy was very good in hockey as well, and he was on a full ride to Division I Ferris State in Michigan. Once that ended after 4 years, Randy opted to stay with the love of his life, Janine, who is in the crowd tonight, and started his working career at a very young age, 23. He's been very successful in the last 27, 28 years, and he now owns 28 stores in Ontario. Randy made a huge impact in those 7 years, and in 1988 he finished second in league batting with a .465 average, and that's the same year that he stole 25 bases in the Manitoba Senior Baseball League, which the record still stands today. In 1988, Randy batted 4th and helped lead our Hamiota team to the Manitoba Senior Baseball League Championship win over the Macaulay Blazers. In the semifinals against the Neepawa Farmers, they walked me to load the bases, and then Randy, of course, wasn't even worried. He came up and hit a 3-run double to clear the bases and clinch the series. In Game 7 in Hamiota against Macaulay, Randy hit a 3-run home run to left center field off an incredible American pitcher named John McClellan. I can still hear Sam Jameson, I'm not sure if he's here tonight, giving John McClellan shit for throwing a curveball to Randy as he had a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and our team was having trouble all night. We never looked back after that hit, and again, Michael Bossier was our catcher, not only for that year, but many, many years before, and like I said earlier, a mentor for years for both Randy and myself. In 1987, Randy batted third for our Manitoba All-Star teams that lost to Red Deer in the gold medal game. With his father, Al Robertson, coaching, Sam Jameson, and the late Perry Kelnick as coaches. From there, we traveled to Red Deer and played New Brunswick in the first game. none other than Bill Spaceman Lee had been hired to pitch for New Brunswick. As some of you may know, Bill Spaceman Lee played for the Boston Red Sox from 1969 to 1978 and the Montreal Expos from 1979 to 1982. Bill was extremely competitive and mouthy, I might add, in 1987. But he came up with a trick pitch where he lobbed the ball high into the air. Anyways, Randy sat back with a smile on his face and just about took Bill's head off, driving in a run. The next bat, Bill decided not to throw that for Randy, but he still promptly hit another line drive over the shortstop's head, driving in another run. Bill was definitely not happy and never stopped yapping the whole game, but as proud Manitobans, we gave it back to Bill even harder, which Bill did not like. Long story short, Randy was an incredible baseball player and also an incredible leader. Too many curveballs, too much arm wrestling, and a very bad shoulder separation while playing hockey for the Estevan Bruins. And Randy's 80-mile-an-hour fastball at age 14 turned into a 70-mile-an-hour fastball by the time he was 18. I will never forget Randy beating a very strong hitting Riverside Canucks team on July 1st, throwing curveball after curveball, and never cracking 70 with his odd fastball. Mark Fisher, Dale Hunter, and Gar Seafoot yelled at him the whole game to throw a fastball. Randy laughed on the bench and said, "Why would I do that?" Anyway, another story I remember was playing with Brandon Cloverleafs, and Rick McFadden was throwing very hard. As Randy was never known as a pull hitter, Rick, with a huge smile on his face, moved his left fielder and third baseman right onto the line. He then basically had his shortstop holding hands with the third baseman. I call it the reverse shift. Anyway, Randy somehow placed the ball over the third baseman's head, just out of reach of the shortstop and left fielder. Rick smiled from ear to ear, as did Randy. Rick could not believe how lucky Randy was to have placed the ball there. In closing, it was an absolute honor and pleasure to play with my brothers for many years. Randy was always a protector and always had mine and his teammates' backs. In all the hitters that I played with or against in Canada or the United States, no one was as clutch in big games or in big situations. Randy always came through, and as a result, he helped Hamiota and many Manitoba teams to many victories and championships. Here's to a great inductee, Randy Robertson.
Thank you very much, Jeff. The first thing I'd like to do is congratulate all the personal inductees tonight, as well as the team members. It makes me reminisce when I first started, graduated from university, that one of the first people I left as a reference on my resume was Bruce Stevens. I asked him if he remembered that today, and he said he did, so thanks, Bruce. You helped me get that job. So congratulations, it's great to hear all the stories of the different team events and the successes from individuals. It's great to see. I'd also like to thank the members of the Hall of Fame committee. I know there's countless and hours and hours and hours of volunteer work. It's really appreciated. The museum is unbelievable for those of you who had a chance to see it, so thank you very much to the Hall of Fame committee. I'd like to really thank the people that nominated me, Gladwin Scott and Jerry McKay. Thank you, Gladwin and Jerry. Gladwin took Kevin Booker and I out to the Kindersley Team Canada tryouts in Kindersley, Saskatchewan. And I don't know, for those of you who know Gladwin, he loves ice cream. We stopped for 3 ice cream cones on the way. So thank you very much, Gladwin and Jerry. It's much appreciated. Jeff, thanks for the speech. it's hard to describe in words the wars we went through in baseball and hockey and with each other growing up. So, you know, it was nothing but a pleasure to play together. We had a lot of good times, a lot of good memories there. So for my family that's come here tonight, my wife Janine, of 29 years, my son and daughter Tyler and Lacey. Sorry.
Love you, babe. Rock.
And their spouses Cam and Krista, and I have 3 grandchildren now, so thank you guys all for coming. My youngest daughter Lara came all the way from Miami, so thank you, Lara. And my son Jordan, who lives with us in just north of Toronto, thanks for coming, Jordan. I'd also like to mention my siblings, and again, Jeff's here, my sister Carrie's here from Nebraska, and her kids, and Jeff brought his kids all the way from Toronto, all 5 of them, and Michelle. Thank you guys for coming. Kim and Carrie were instrumental in supporting us. Kim sold tickets, took money at the gates, helped Mom out, was the manager. Carrie, unfortunately, had to scrub a lot of baseball socks and white pants. Thank you, Carrie. We had the 2 Americans that built it in their house, and Jeff and myself and Dad, so there was 5 pairs of socks and 5 uniforms that needed washed each day by hand, which Carrie, thank you very much. I'd like to mention a few people I had the privilege of playing with, Kerry Lowe, and people like Kerry Lowe, Ron Ramsey, Michael Blassie. I can't say enough about how he inspired and motivated Jeff and I, and it's funny, he said to me at the hotel, he said, I didn't know if we had to hold you and Jeff back, or if I had to hold you back, or hold, I forget the exact word, but it was hilarious. So, I think he kept us out of trouble a lot of times, so thanks, Mike. But just a great leader and a great person to play with, and boy, he taught Jeff and I a lot. The rivalries that we had with Meepaw, with Souris, with Riverside in particular, just great competition over the years, you know, just unbelievable. I still, the crowds, Bruce talked about the crowds, we had massive crowds that came to watch us play, which was awesome and way more fun to play in front of. And when I get older and a little bit smarter, I'm not sure if they came to see us because we were good ball players, or to see what the Robertson brothers and some others might do tonight. Because there's a lot of arguing and fighting, and the one day in Fairdale recite was, we were playing Riverside, there's probably well over 1,000 people there, and someone threw the ball and hit Jeff in the head. I think it was Grant Everard, so the benches erupted. Mom was selling hot dogs in the concession stand, came out, saw her husband and 2 sons in an all-out brawl, so went back to selling hot dogs. So, a really special time in my life was the summer games in St. John's. We came into the tournament seeded 10th from Manitoba, and we were a bunch of guys with different colored spikes, not that good looking uniforms. We kept winning and winning and winning and winning all the way to the gold medal game. Team Ontario had their red spikes and their white pants and beautiful red uniforms. They didn't give us a chance. Well, to this day, I still hold firm we won that gold medal. So, we didn't officially, but I think we won it. Jeff was saved the home base. The last people I'd like to acknowledge, the most important people in my life, Mom and Dad. You've done so much good. You've done so much for us. The hours and hours and hours of coaching and hockey and baseball, and you know, people that we know now in the city say, what's it like to grow up in a small town? It was awesome. You know, we had keys to the workout facilities at the school, we had keys to the hockey rink, the hours and hours Jeff and I spent in the batting cage, so it was unbelievable growing up in Amiola. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Have a great day, congratulations again, once again, to the inductees.